For those of you who don't know, that's a Beyonce song. Yeah. It's like, there is no separation from spiritual music, right? No matter what you hear sung, it's either a cry for love or a song of love. We realize and we live in this place where everything is holy. Everything, when we adjust our minds to that truth. Everything we think we hate, everything we think is bad and wrong, may just be a cry for love, a cry for understanding, a cry for compassion. And when you step into that consciousness, the world shifts and we create a new heaven and a new earth right here and right now. So one of the great pleasures of being a minister here and of playing with the music team is that there's almost nothing that we can't sing here, right? We can make it work because we come from that consciousness. Yesterday, a whole group of us went to Spirit Rock in Marin to listen to Byron Katie give a seminar on her work, Loving What Is. And one of the things that she wrote down, she said that I wrote down, my job is to end suffering in the world. My world. My job is to end suffering in the world. Right here. And that's why I'm here. That's what my mission and this church's mission is to do, is to end the suffering in the world by looking at our own minds, our own consciousness, our own beliefs, knowing that God or evil is not anything outside, but everything inside. And the other one I loved was, you either want to be free or you want to change your son. I was like, oh, dagger to the heart. So you fill in the blank for the last now. You either want to be free or you want to change that person. You either want to be free or you want to change that situation. What is it that you want most? Do you want to live in the unbridled freedom of knowing the truth? Or do you want to make sure that that other person gets it? And you know, for those of us who have been on the planet for a little while, good luck with that, right? It is a recipe for failure. And her work yesterday just kept reminding me to come back to that truth, that everything is here. She literally said that we create our bodies by our thoughts, right? There is nothing out of order but your thoughts. Hear that? There's nothing out of order but your thoughts. When we can look at the world from that perspective, it does shift. It does move. So we've been on this journey. We've been on this 3-week now. This is week 3 of our talking about the steps to manifestation and prosperity and abundance in a large container. We're not just talking about financial prosperity. We're talking about prosperity and abundance in all of its forms. Health, relationships, work, money, peace, prosperity. All of this in this grand umbrella. And this week, we're talking about the 3rd step of manifestation, to share your journey. Because the person or persons or the community that can help you manifest your dream is already here. Right? They're already on the planet to fulfill the song that Misa just sang, to let people know you were here. Your job is to fulfill that dream, to make your heart's desire manifest in the world. I know a little bit about Misa's story, and I know that she wasn't always a professional singer, but that it was always tugging at her heart, right? And she made it happen. And I would guess, if we dove in and asked her the questions, that one of the ways she made it happen was to tell everyone who would listen for a second that she wanted to sing, that she had to sing, that this is what she's called to do, right? And eventually telling the right person opened an opportunity for her to sing somewhere, right? And then, of course, then they heard that incredible talent. It was, duh, where have you been all the time? But in that moment between when she wasn't making her living as a singer and when she was, she just kept singing. She kept doing it. She did what we talked about last week, taking concrete steps. Right? Before there's a paying job for singing, there's lots of opportunities to sing for free. And they still come, don't they? Even more after. But singing isn't what she does for money. Right? Let me get that straight. Singing isn't what she does for money. Singing is what she does. Sometimes she gets paid for it. Sometimes she gets paid because of the wholeness that she brings to life. And that's what we can all apply on this journey. Many of you have heard me say that Roma wouldn't be in my life today. She actually wouldn't be on the planet. Hear this. She wouldn't be on the planet in this form if I hadn't shared my journey. I wrote it. I blogged it. I talked about the pain, I talked about the struggle, and I talked about the vision I held. And someone read it and said, I want to give you a child. And she and her husband conceived this child and handed her to JD and I. All right, that's the elevator pitch story of it, for those of you who haven't heard it before. But Roma literally would not be on the planet if I hadn't shared my journey. Right? To do as Brene Brown talks about it being excruciatingly vulnerable. For those of you who don't know who Brene Brown is, she is a researcher. She is a storyteller researcher, as she self-describes, and she studies shame. Literally studies shame at the University of Houston. But what she does is she looks at what was the opposite of shame, right? Which is love. And the cure to get there, to get from shame to love, she says, is being vulnerable. Being honest and vulnerable with each other and sharing our journey so that we realize we're all the same. We're all in this together. And to find the people that will lift you up, that will bring you to that higher place. So, to share your journey means to trust, to step out in faith, and to know that you're not doing this alone, but that someone on the planet is right now looking for what you have to offer. Right? Manifestation is not a magical process. Whether you're trying to manifest a job, a relationship, or money. All of those things already exist. The job you're looking for already exists on the planet in some form, or there's a need for it. Even if the job itself doesn't exist, the need for it does. And the two must come together somehow. If you're looking for a special relationship, they must put yourself out there because there's someone else also looking. There's two couples on opposite sides of me right now that I know went through that just recently or in the midst of planning their marriage because they put themselves out there and shared their journey for a deeper connection. And what was the third? I lost it. So money. Money was the third. It's like the money you're going to make already exists in the world. It's sitting in somebody else's bank account. It's sitting, right? It's sitting somewhere in some bank, in some organization, or in somebody's pocket, right? And if you want it to be part of your life, you need to tell the universe why. Why should it be part of yours? What are you going to do with it? What's your vision? What's your mission? What's yours to do in this life? But a couple words of caution, okay? A couple words of caution before you run out and tell everybody you run into your vision, your mission, what you're here to do, and what you're about in life. Scripture tells us don't cast your pearls before swine. Right? And be very careful who you tell this to. Because there will be people who tell you, oh no, you can't. That's not the way the world works. There will be people who literally will ridicule you to your face. And that's okay. It's okay if you're strong enough to take that. Because you can look at them and say, hey, you know, Bill Gates quit college. I'm sure his parents were aghast. Right? It's like, oh my God, to form Microsoft. But what is yours to do? Have the strength not to cast your pearls before swine. Or if people ridicule you or make fun of you or aren't along with your vision, bless them on their way. That's why we sang our release today. Let them go. Let them all go. Right? Because they're obviously not here for you, other than to be something to push against. Right? They're not here to support your vision. So why do that? Why try to change their mind? But find the people that align with you. And the second, and I say this because I know it's really easy to fall into this trap, is don't complain. Sharing your journey isn't an excuse to complain about how awful it is. Right? Not if you want to manifest what you're saying. If you want to stay exactly where you are, if you want to stay in the same situation, go ahead, complain. But if you're really, really committed to achieving your goal and to making a difference in your life, in your consciousness, in your mind, stop complaining about everything. And this is how I define complaining. Complaining is stating the facts of the situation with no intention on finding a solution. Okay? Right? It's different than saying, I've lost my job. Complaining would be, I lost my job, life is unfair, my boss is unfair, there's just no hope for me. And if you tell that story over and over and over again, and over and over and over again, you will see your friends leave no matter what. You will watch as they run. But if you use the same truth, I'm not asking you to deny reality, here it is, but to see it from a different perspective. I've lost my job. And this is an opportunity for me to reinvent myself, to find out what it really is that I have to do. Yes, Ms. Bisa.
That actually resonates with me because the way I started singing in Beach Blanket Babylon, I had a high-powered corporate job and I was laid off. And I have worked since I was 14 years old. And I was almost 30, actually I think it was over 30, with no job.
And kids. And just kids. Just
4 children and bills and wanting to eat on a regular basis. And I turned to music, which had always at that point been a hobby. And I was like, okay, I lost my job, what can I do? And a friend of mine that I had been singing with for years, and this is the part that kind of sticks, because God is a wonder. I've been singing with him for years in a wedding band, and he'd been the drummer for Beach Blanket Babylon, the understudy drummer for 20 years. And he said over those years, you know, Beach Blanket would love you. And I was like, you know, I got this thing. And I lost my job, and I was like, okay, can I get an audition?
And you did.
And I did. But it
and how long have you been with Babylon now?
7 years.
7 years. Right.
Yeah.
7 years. You can have the fear. You can have the despair. You can have the genuine concern. But to blame and complain doesn't serve your highest good. That opening, Lisa could have found another corporate job, right? She could have. I know she's talented in many ways, right? She could have found it, she could have settled, but she had something tugging at her heart. In our first week, we talked about it. Name and claim your dream. Right? Name and claim your dream. I want to be this person. 2 is to take concrete steps towards it. She was already singing in the wedding band, but she asked. The concrete step was to ask for the audition for Beach Blanket. Beach Blanket Babylon. Right? And the 3rd is to share her journey. To tell people along the way. Tell the drummer, hey, this is what's going on. I just lost my job. Right? That part, that step is essential to transforming the world. The world between your ears, right? It's not about changing them out there. It's about changing you in here. That's the unity message. That's why it's so important. Everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change. Right? Right? Everyone wants to change the world, but no one wants to change. And I've said it to us before. It's so hard. So hard when you look at the politics. It's so easy to blame the other side, to call them all kinds of names. And they're making it so easy for us this campaign season. Right? Right? But how do I change the world if I won't change my thinking? How do I change the world if I won't change what I think about other people? So, the steps we talked about: name and claim your dream, take concrete steps forward, and share your journey, all fit in many different levels in our life. We've already talked about the personal, about dating. I know these two men on the internet. That's the new version of matchmakers, right? But putting yourself out there. How do you two meet?
They technically grew up together.
Oh, how neat!
They grew up in the same kind of community.
Right.
And a few blocks of each other.
Another testament. The one you're looking for is already in your life. The one you're looking for, the job you're looking for, the thing you're looking for already exists in the world and may already be in your life. Travel around the world to meet the boy next door. Right? It always happens that way. Jobs. Ask and you shall receive. Friends. Take a risk. Tell people what you're really about. Be excruciatingly vulnerable about someone you want to know. Don't talk about the weather. Talk about what's important to you. Share your journey. That's the way to make a real difference in your community, in your life. Children and parents. Oh, it has been another level for me to learn how to apply this with my children, especially with a teenage boy.
Wow.
Yeah. I shared with you, and I shared at the Byron Katie event yesterday, about what that journey has been like for me and how to apply these principles. And I got up to ask Byron a question, right? And I was talking to her about it, going, you know, I feel like it's my job to teach him something. It feels like that's the role of the parent, and I get how crazy that is. I get, you know, that I'm not trusting that life will teach him his lessons and this and that, but and she looked at me with such compassion and just said, well, what is it that you'd want to teach him? And I said, wow, if I knew, that might make it more successful. But through her questioning, I came to, it's like, I think I'm supposed to teach him or demonstrate to him how to be a success. And she said, what's your definition of success? For me, that's happiness. That was an easy one. It's happiness. She said, then the way to teach him happiness is to be happy. If you're angry at what he's choosing, that's not teaching him to be happy, is it? Duh. Right? The elephant is in our mind. It's not in the room. Let's talk about it. The elephant is not in the room. It's in our thinking. It's in our thinking. And when we can examine and pull out and tell the truth about what we're thinking, and be that vulnerable and say, oh, look how quickly I fall into the trap of thinking I can change someone else. Look how quickly I fall into the trap of thinking that someone else is wrong. And go, oh, okay, let's do that again. Let's go home and celebrate everything. Let's celebrate his successes and demonstrate the truth that we want our children and the world to know. And the other way we can do all this is in community, right? Unity used to be called the best kept secret. Well, why were we keeping it a secret? I don't know. They don't know, but there's something in our culture, in the unity culture, that thinks it's wrong to go out and talk about what we believe and who we are. And I want us to shatter that concept. I want us to shatter that way of thinking. Because, you know, it may be that proselytizing religions have turned you off in the past. It may be that someone who will try to ram their religion down your throat might have left a bad taste in your mouth. I don't know, I'm just guessing. But there's a huge difference, as I just talked about sharing your journey. To being able to publicly say to your family and friends that I attend this church, I attend this spiritual community that has taught me how to live more positively, that has made a huge difference in my life, in how I think and how I interact with people, and what is happening in my life. My life has so prospered from it. And it's taught me that it's not out there, that God and everything is within me. And in that kind of understanding, and in that way of sharing the journey, we do become a vibrant community, honoring the divine presence in all paths, in all ways, and radiating the unity message through loving service. That's how we radiate the message. We share it. We share these teachings that we hear on Sunday and in classes and at Byron Katie's events. And we tell our stories and how, when we apply these principles, our lives become different. If we want to be what our vision statement has, remember our vision statement is a statement for what we're going to be maybe 5 years out, what we're growing toward. But if we are going to become a vibrant spiritual community, honoring the divine presence in all and radiating the unity message through loving service, it has to start with each and every one of us sharing our story. Sharing why it is we come to be here on Sundays, to take classes here, to do service here, to sing here, to be a part of this community. Although we do pay her, and no, Misa doesn't come here just for the pay. It is not worth getting up at that time in the morning just to get here and then do 2 shows after this to do that. I know. I know. But she's here for something greater. She's saying, I am only here for God. Right? This is part of her mission. So my question is, what's yours? What's your mission? What's your vision? What's yours for your life? Do you have that dream firmly anchored? Just pick one. You don't have to do them all today. You can do them all tomorrow. But pick one today. Claim it. Take a concrete step today towards it. And share your journey along the way. Join the salon after. Go to hospitality hour. Invite somebody to lunch. Somebody that you haven't had lunch with before here. And share your journey. Start echoing this out into the world. And then the last step, when we're strong and ready, is to do this globally. To be bigger than this community and than our own individual lives. But to use our global platform that each and every one of you has. I know you do have a global platform. Do you know that? You do. It's usually in your pocket all the time. You have a global platform to make a change in the world. So how do you want to share your story on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter? What do you want to even retweet? I mean, our political campaigns are showing us that right now. Are we retweeting racist, white supremacist stuff? Or are we retweeting love? And we get to make that choice too, not to blame any particular candidate for it. What are you resharing on your Facebook and your Instagram and your Twitter pages? And if you don't do all that, what are you talking about when you pick up the phone and talk to your friends? That's your global platform. It's available to all of us, and we, by changing our consciousness, by changing our mind, by changing our way of being, as we share our story. Take Francine's class, write your book, share your story. It's doing no good trapped inside of you. Get it out. Get it out. Make a difference. From here to here. make a difference because the world needs you to. When you share your journey, you're instantly richer, instantly more successful, and instantly more connected. When you share your journey, you are the change the world needs. Let's take that to our time of meditation.